I am the world's biggest super fan.
You're like a super fan.
Welcome to the Business Superfans Podcast. We will discuss how establishing business superfans from customers, employees, and business partners can elevate your success exponentially. Learn why these advocates are a key factor to achieving excellence in the world of commerce. We discuss the invaluable insights of business owners who have successfully implemented the strategies in the book to build their own team of devoted superfans. Gain insightful knowledge from the experts who create applications that help you create passionate superfans. This is the Business Superfans Podcast with your host, Freddie D.
Ready!
Today's guest is a powerhouse in the world of entrepreneurship and business technology. Ken Cox is a seasoned entrepreneur, president of Hosterian and Riverside Internet Group, and the visionary force behind several innovative ventures, including the game-changing platform InLink.com. Ken's passion lies in empowering small businesses and solopreneurs with affordable, scalable solutions. InLink.com is his latest mission-driven project, offering an all-in-one office suite and robust CRM without the typical per-user fees that's designed to help small businesses collaborate, manage projects, and engage customers more effectively. He's also the host of the award-winning Clicks and Bricks podcast, where he dives deep into the stories and strategies of entrepreneurs who are making waves. And if that's not enough, he's the author of Reclaim Sobriety, a powerful guide for those seeking to overcome addiction and reclaim their lives. Whether he's building tech platforms, supporting startups, or sharing real-world advice from the trenches, Ken is all about resilience, innovation, and practical action. So if you're ready to get inspired and walk away with tools to level up your business, you're in for a treat.
Welcome, Ken Cox from InLink to the Business Superfans Podcast. We're excited to have you here this morning. How are you, Ken?
I'm wonderful, Frederick. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what's the backstory to InLink. What is InLink?
So InLink, at the end of the day, is an attempt to help small businesses have the tools and the marketing strategies that they need without the blow of a big marketing agency. Small business owners specifically that really under 5 million revenue, but a lot of the times they're not $500,000 to 1.5, 1.2, 2.5 million. They're doing their own marketing, right? And they get taken advantage of. A lot of fly-by-night marketing companies, $5,000, $10,000 for a funnel, all of those things. So that's where InLink starts, is having the back office system for an entrepreneur or a small business owner or a solopreneur to own their own marketing. And we have all these different, what we call snapshots that we can put in that we do at no charge. But that was where we started with InLink. And that's a whole lot of fun, right? Helping small businesses with their posting on their Facebook and their contract management and all the tools that you need, calendar management, to run your business online today. And I find that wildly gratifying because I like helping small businesses. But a couple of years ago, AI kind of hit the market hard, and I went to MIT for their program for AI and business, and was just constantly looking at how do we get these services to the small business. And yeah, there's a lot of great tools, and I can help people with prompts, and I can help people with all of these different things with the AI tools that are out there. But then one of our partners came out with the AI employees, and I deployed it for a couple companies, and it works so well that we changed the game on the entire bell curve of business, right? So normally you'd have a bell curve where the demand goes way up and the price is really high for a really long time. Well, with AI, it democratizes so many things that we're able to bring AI employees to the world at a really, really affordable rate. And they're really good for your electricians, your plumbing shops, your med spas, your local gyms, your chiropractic. Having an AI answer the phone for you and be able to give your users, your clients, all the information that they need in real time, handle disgruntled people, but be able to close the loop and send it to a real person, or send a contract, or send a calendar link, or send your pricing link via text. We have all those things figured out, and they're really affordable, and it's pretty simple to do. So what we did at InLink is we started doing Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 4 p.m. We just do a live webinar and show them how to set these different AI employees up. as you implement AI employees, what I think a lot of people want is a set it and forget it thing. And when we coin the term AI employees, it gets to the point to where, oh, I do have to manage them. I do have to train them, right? And you start treating these AI instances, and we even go as far as saying, name them with real names. Make sure they're named like George AI or something like that whenever they're talking to your users. So it's always transparent. You always create a loop to get to a real person. And we've just created this training program that you can come to absolutely free, no obligations. But if you do come, you get giant discounts on our program for unlimited AI employees. I think right now we're doing, even when this show comes out, we'll be doing half off. If you come to the webinar, we're giving 50% off of your unlimited AI employee package, which brings it down to $250 a month. And we have 6 different AI employees, right? We have AI voice, your Google review, and your face. You've got a review employee, you've got a conversation employee for your live chat. We've got a funnel employee. We've got all these different AI employees that can help you run your business in a way that, quite frankly, just wasn't there even 6 months ago.
Yeah, no, I can totally relate, Ken, because back in the day when I was selling software, I began in the industry when the industry began. So that was 45 years ago. And we had to do everything manually in the sales and the engagement. You had to write the letter. Email didn't even exist back in the 80s. So you had to get the letter written, put it in an envelope, stamp it, mail it. It was time consuming. I automated it because I used a CRM. Actually, I wrote my own CRM originally. And then I ended up finding one that worked on a Mac because I got one of those Macs back in like 1985 when they first came out. And I had a CRM and I built letter templates. And so I still used automation in a sense because it was a boilerplate. And I could say, okay, these 12 people, this letter, thanking them for taking the time to meet with me, to look at our technology and all that stuff, and sent it. And that made a huge difference in the engagement. And I closed more sales. I got the plaques up on the wall from top sales guy. I followed up and I had a system that I created as a follow-up mechanism, and it was automated, not to the level that you're discussing today, but for back then, it was very automated.
Yeah. And what we did with InLink is we've really jammed 2 things together really hard in the center, right? So we have all these snapshots. So say you're a plumber, right? And you take our plumber snapshot. In that snapshot, we have, because we've been doing all this manual stuff for so many years, we have 2 years of follow-up sequence built into that snapshot, right? So that kind of structured, repeatable, when they download your lead magnet, which is top 5 things to watch for plumbing in your house, right? If somebody downloads that, now they're in your funnel and they get 2 years of outreach, automatic, right? Text, emails, all those things, they're all written for you already like a traditional model. And then you couple that with AI employees, and then you couple that with all the tools that we have to give you in this package to make it work right? So you get unlimited funnels, you get unlimited websites, you get unlimited calendars, you get unlimited AI employees, right? So you might have something in your department where, oh, you want to transfer it to a billing AI employee that has more billing information than your customer service AI employee. So you just train those side by side, and then obviously you always create a loop that they come out. We give you a really nice management interface that you can watch and review all the phone calls, all the messages they send back and forth, all the text messages, if you wanted to take over the text messaging for you. These are the same tools that I use to get bestseller on my book, Reclaim Sobriety. And the thing that I learned that was really shocking to me is training my AI employees and treating them the same as I would for a regular employee.
Oh, yeah. I use ChatGPT, I use Claude and myself, and I actually have conversations with the AI. Better my conversations, the better the results, the better the engagement, the better it understands what I'm after. And then it really, there's times where I've really changed a lot of the approach that I used. And it's up my game because as I learn how to communicate with it better and create prompts and things like that, it then in turn gives me much better results. And you're talking minutes versus days.
Yeah. And the big one for me is the emotional drain of when you have to go to an employee that's doing something just slightly off. And it's hard to explain to them, say, no, you have to do it. It's thank you for calling. How may I help you? Not how can I help you? and those small nuances, and this my way is fine with the employee. You just don't have to deal with any of those things, right? So for this entry level position that a lot of people use for their front desk, for answering, for replying to Google reviews and Facebook reviews, it's really phenomenal. And then I think what tipped me off that, these need training is I had an AI working with a client. The client started speaking, said something like, hola. And then the AI picked up on that and started speaking Spanish back to them. And then now they have this entire conversation in Spanish. And this particular client now expects support in Spanish from everybody on the team. So we had to get creative and say, hey, you only speak English. If anybody starts speaking another language, immediately get them back to the languages that we're going to support natively within the company. And that was kind of a wake up moment for me to go, oh, they do need to be managed. There's going to be things that are going to happen in the wild coming into my company that we're not going to think of until after we've seen it, right? So I really want people to start accepting AI as individual work silos, just like you would an employee, right? ChatGPT can be your kind of engineer, do all that stuff. But when you're deploying these tools inside your company for a specific task, keep those tasks narrow, right? Train that AI. And you're going to just some tricks like your primary language is English. And when it transfers to another language, bring it back to English as soon as possible for the user and apologize that we only support in English.
That depends, because I worked for an interpreting and translation company. And, you're going to have people that are not English proficient is reality. Okay.
Yes.
And the fact that you have that capability. So I'm going to twist this around a little bit, because that's one of the things I sold was I ran this company. I grew up by $1 million in a year. It was the fact that, okay, you've got a business, you're a law firm, you're a home improvement business, multitude of different things. Let's leverage technology. You've got a non-English speaking individual that wants your services. Guess what? You can actually service that person and grow your business, because now you've got a whole new pool of people that you can reach out to that if you didn't have that technology, that would be business you would never get.
Absolutely. I do believe in transparency, though. I think it's important to let the user know that, hey, if you call us, you won't have a Spanish speaking person. Now, I believe we're probably only 6 months away from being able to support multi-language and AI across the board with voice, text, all of those things. Could probably do it now, but I've not figured out a good way to transition them from the AI to the actual staff, the human staff that's behind them. So if the human staff has the tools in place to auto translate, a lot of them do, then absolutely do that. This particular instance, we didn't have that, right?
But I just wanted to bring that up because there is a way to your people sometimes are looking and saying, hey, I'd like to grow my business. There's a whole untapped market that you've got. For example, when we were doing with the interpreting, we had elderly people that have been in this country for decades and they're American citizens and all that stuff, but they're just not English proficient. Their kids are, but they speak their native language at home. I'm originally from France. And when I grew up, French was spoken in the house and English was spoken out of the house. So that's just the way it was. And there's millions of people that have the same thing. So to our listeners, you should take a look at leveraging, what Ken's talking about, but then also take it to the next level and incorporate things to accommodate your demographic market in your area.
Absolutely. Being able to support multilingual is absolutely available today. And it's just something that you need to make sure that you have the standard operating procedures in your company to be able to handle it if it gets to a live person. But the GPTs today are great at translating. We have a lot of great translation, real-time translation, audio devices that you can use. I think a lot of people are scared of AI right now still. They're scared to implement it in their business. So my approach is let's do this in smaller chunks and understand one piece of it. Okay, that piece is working well, just like every business, right? You create your KPIs. Mm-hmm. Now I get to really create a key performance indicator for how I answer the phone. I have small businesses that I own and operate, and I'm in small businesses all the time. And I see this one thing happen over and over. A person's working with a client. They're in the middle of it. The front desk person isn't there, or they're on the phone, or something else is happening. And They have to make a decision. Do I go answer the phone and leave my current client sitting here unattended and maybe get this other client or a potential client and deal with them? Or do I let that phone ring and go to voicemail? Well, now you don't have to make that decision anymore. You can have a real-time AI answering the phone in real time, handling all of your objective workload, right? How do I sign up? How do I get a contract? What is your schedule? Do you have any classes today? All of the objective workloads that are somebody just answering the phone and sending them a text message or directing them to somewhere on the website. Absolutely. Not only achievable, it's pretty fast and wildly affordable.
Well, aside from that, I want to really highlight a point is by being able to engage people in real time and not having it necessarily go to voicemail, you're creating the foundation of what I call creating business superfans, okay? Because I have a rule, been in sales for decades on the global stage, is you got an inquiry in today's world, you got a 15-minute window to respond. If you don't respond to that inquiry within 15 minutes, it's gone. You may call back 2 hours later, but they've already found somebody else. It's the dead end. The fact that you have and can help businesses employ tools that make that engagement, now you're not losing that prospective prospect because you've got some engagement going on. And recently I was in a networking group. One of the members there was saying she was chatting with somebody and says it was going a great conversation and she was 5 minutes or so into it. And then she realized she's chatting with an AI robot. But the fact that what she really highlighted, because she was backing up what I was talking about at the time for that meeting, was the fact that she was able to engage and that kept her engaged versus going someplace else. So Ken, share us a story of how you've gone in and transformed a company to where they are utilizing the technology and what happened to that company and how did they create themselves super fans of their customers and their team and everything else.
The companies that I've worked with most, and this is pretty new technology out there that's ready for the mainstream. And if it wasn't ready for the mainstream, I would not be promoting it. I've been doing web hosting and back office solutions for over 25 years. And to me, I am function over form 100%. If it doesn't work right, then I will not promote it. And I have pretty high standards on those kinds of things. I've worked with some gyms. I've worked with some veterinary clinics and some med spas. Those are places that we've deployed these AI workforces at the moment. I've also done a hosting company that's way more complex. Actually, that's still being built. But the first thing that they do is they're freeing up the time from the front desk person to do outreach stuff. So taking the fluctuation of inbound out of the equation for a front desk person at a veterinary clinic or a gym or chiropractor office, taking that responsibility and giving it to the AI, knowing that, all I have to do is maybe every 3 or 4 hours, I check my interface to make sure there's any calls or there's anything pending. I can even have my AI employee text me if somebody's disgruntled, right? So that I know, I've got to get on that pretty quickly and get a real person on there as soon as possible. It frees them up to do other proactive stuff in their business, which is the hardest kind of thing to do inside your business, right? The easiest thing to do is come in the morning and just react to whatever is going on. But if you've been in business for a while, you know that mentality is not sustainable. As entrepreneurs and business people, we have to every day get up and say, how am I going to create a new path? How am I going to be more effective? How am I going to be more efficient? And these tools get there, right? And then as you're training them, the biggest epiphany that I've heard was, wow, I'm not going to have to train a new front desk staff every school year when my college kids go back to school. I'm not going to have to find a new front desk person because I think a lot of these small businesses, that's their biggest issue is that front desk staff that's doing a lot of this work is high turnover rate. That's the biggest thing that I think people are getting out of it right now. Long term, as people add it more and more, and they're doing stuff like auto-populating contracts based on the conversation, right? And using the tools more and more, the uphill is phenomenal. There's local business, and this is what I'm really excited about, because local businesses, and you're all about super fans, have fans. They're there every day. They're using their services and they're buying their products. But today, the owner is so overwhelmed, he doesn't have merchandise that's branded that he's selling to that user. He doesn't have an easy website that he can send people to buy merchandise that's branded for them, that shows the fandom of that particular small business. And I think that's where we're going to go in a lot of ways, is creating these micro influenced companies in geographical areas across the globe. And it's going to be a lot of smaller businesses long term, I think. And we're done with the winner take most mentality in this country. And it's time to get back to Main Street business. And we want to be here to help them do that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I'm going to expand upon that, because one of the things I wrote in my book is that a lot of industries, I'm going to pick on the home improvement one because they're the ones that fail the most. And that is lack of follow-up post-transaction. And how often have you heard back from your HVAC guy or your something else that they come out, they've done the painting, they've did the plumbing, they fixed the AC, whatever, and then you don't hear from them ever again. And so next time you have an issue, you can't remember who it was because they didn't stay in contact with you. And that's why I always preach that your existing gold is your existing customers. People tend to focus on trying to get new customers. I coach people and says, focus on getting your existing customers to be your super fans. Because now if you got your super fan customers promoting you to all their people that they know, you don't need to be prospecting anymore, because you're going to have an avalanche of referrals coming in. So where I'm going with this is a home improvement business can utilize what you're talking about, because they can set up automated workflows that will maintain the ongoing engagement post-transaction with that particular customer. So do a home remodeling. One of the things that I coached on people in the construction industry is, okay, first off, you get the deal to do the home remodeling. Well, usually I tell people have a video and show previous customers and let them do the selling, and you just zip it and let the video do the talking, because they'll do a better job of selling your services. Once you get the deal, you let people know what to expect moving forward. So it's going to take us 90 days, et cetera. You take photographs of that whole process because they didn't. And now it gives them a story that they can share with their other people. Okay. But now when you're done, you send out a thank you for allowing us to remodel your kitchen. 30 days later, you can have an automated saying, hey, by the way, did you fill out your warranty paperwork? 6 months later, you can have it automated that come out and says, hey, Ken, I know that everybody parties in the kitchen. I just want to make sure all is well and you guys are enjoying your new remodeled kitchen. A year later, 18 months, 24 months, you can have that all automated. And that's the game changer, because that's how you're going to create those super fans out of those customers and maintaining that engagement so that next time they need your service, they're going to know who to reach out to. Or more importantly, if they're out to dinner with their friends or having drinks and everything else, and their friend says, hey, I have an issue with this. Oh, you need to talk to my guys because they're always talking to me.
Yes. It's something I'm super excited about. And you're absolutely correct that follow-up is important. We do have the couple of the home repair guys, and they're different. I don't want to overly generalize, but the guys that I've worked with are a different kind of breed, right? They work by themselves. They might have one or two partners, but they're solopreneurs for the most part.
But that's where this tool can help them look like a rock star.
Absolutely does, right? It brings their image way up. But the important thing there is to remember that, yeah, you have to do the follow-up, but we have ability now is to do the follow-up in multiple modalities. We can do a text message. We can do an email. And I'm super excited about right now, our AI employees answer the phone. We have coming soon an outbound. And some of the things that we're figuring out is how to prevent abuse from that, make sure everybody's staying legal and all of those things. But being able to have your AI employee call one of your potential or an appointment, right? We had this podcast and we used email back and forth to schedule this.
It was all automated. On my end, it was all automated.
Correct. And then, but you could have an AI employee, you did a text and an email, but you could add an outbound phone call to that too, right? Hit one to confirm, or you have any questions or any of those kinds of things. And we're coming into a world to where as a business, even a small business can communicate with their users in the way that their users appreciate, and not overburden them with, a lot of times us tech people get into our industry so much that we start using industry terms, and it kind of
And you start losing people behind because, and you brought up a good point there, Ken. I want to really emphasize it is people have their own preferred communication method. So one of the things that you need to do is I made sure that the forms online had a choice of how do you prefer to be contacted. Because one of my customers I had for 10 years was a diabetes doctor, world renowned. Okay, he's traveled all over the world. And you could send him a text message till you're blue in the face, and you could leave him a voicemail till you got laryngitis from talking so much with the guy. But you sent him an email, he responded like that. He'd be on a tarmac flying off to some other country to speak about different things. I'd get an email back from him just like that. But the others was not his thing. And then I've had people that you send an email and a voicemail, nothing. You send a text message and you can't get a response fast enough. So yeah, I think it's important what you just said is allowing people to identify their preferred method of communication.
Absolutely. And I've been fortunate enough to be working and servicing Fortune 100 companies for the past 25 years, along with small and medium-sized business. But my passion really lies in technology and small and medium-sized business. That's where I really love to play. Historically, I didn't have products that I could bring to that market that were competitive and meaningful, right? Because one of my core tenets is to create meaningful products for my clients, right? And AI Employees is really meaningful. It can give you back so much time. It services your clients in a way that is not better than the owner picking up the phone. It's not better than that, but it's really close.
Yeah, we used it in an interpreting and translation company that I ran for a while. They got acquired last year. We leveraged some of the technologies to engage, especially if inquiries came in. I had autoresponders created so that, boom, we got it. A, acknowledged that we received the inquiry. Right. B, it informed them that someone would be contacting them within the next 15 minutes. And we did. And that closed more sales. We grew that department. The document translation was under $100,000. And in 1 year's time, we took it from under $100,000 to over $225,000. And that was all primarily because in sales, speed counts. The first one that responds has a chance to set the bar. And then everybody else that goes shopping has got to meet that bar. You never want to be the second guy in sales because that guy it's like you never remember the middle of the movie. You remember the beginning of the movie and you remember the end of the movie. Yeah. So so in sales, you want to be either the first guy or the last guy. Because last guy, you got a chance to clean up. Middle guy, you always lose.
Absolutely.
It's important to really incorporate that technology into your business in a way, especially for solopreneurs, it can actually make you look like a much larger company because of the fact that you can leverage the technology for a very reasonable amount of money. That is, in a sense, like another employee, but you got no benefits, no Social Security to pay, no health care insurance, everything else. It would do the things that's freeing up your time to focus on the things that you need to do as a solopreneur. But yet you're not letting things fall through the cracks because you've gotten the technology to capture all those things. And even if you're swamped and you're busy on a project, you can have it turn back and says, hey, Ken's busy right now. He'll get you back in about an hour.
Absolutely. If I had one thing to really push that solo entrepreneur or small business owner or anybody that's thinking about getting into this world is that the technology is affordable enough today for the CRM and everything you need, right? That you can get it and slowly move into it, right? And then walk your way into this. I think a lot of people get overwhelmed when they get this monolithic, giant piece of software that can do everything.
Yeah, you get overwhelmed.
Right? You get overwhelmed and you get gridlock. And every proposal is, I've been paid over $1 million to set up somebody's back office. And I've spent tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get them set up for us, right? And those days are gone. You can literally get the software. You've got 5 or 6 different tools hitting your credit card from Panda Docs or DocuSign software, right? You can put all those things under one hood. I think we take all the pieces of software that InLink gives you with the AI employee, because the AI employee needs to be able to access all of those components. It's like $7,000 worth of software per month. of all the different stuff that we had to bring in, because we knew if we're going to deploy an AI employee, he needs to have contract management. He needs to have, or she needs to have access to a calendar that they can send. Doesn't mean when you implement it, you need to use those calendars. You can send them the Calendly link that you have today and take your time to evacuate those other systems and then use the AI system more and more if you want to, or have people just using it as standalone. They look at their AI employees as its own silo. They keep their other business and they look at this as a silo, and that works really well too. So it doesn't have to be one way, and there's no right or wrong way anymore.
Correct. It's based upon their needs. It can be tweaked. So as we get closer to the end here, Ken, what's an action item that a business owner can look at their business to determine whether a tool like this would be beneficial for them?
Yeah. So the first thing that I would do, if you have access to your phone records, how many phone calls are you missing a week? Are you missing calls or not? If you're not missing calls, ask your staff, are you walking away from guests to answer the phone ever? Are you stopping the service that they're paying you for, providing a bad quality of service for them so that you can answer the phone? If either one of those two answers is yes, that's a giant cry that you need this. Outside of that, if you aren't doing really good in your local Google reviews, your local Google search for your local business, one of the problems might be that you're not following up with your Google reviews, right? And Google wants to see that you're interacting with all those things. So we can do those. Or if you just have customers that are continuing, you feel like they ask the same question over and over and it's the same answer, and that's frustrating for you, an AI employee is perfect for you as well.
Okay. Excellent tidbits, because that's really what you highlighted there, Ken, is the fact that they should take a look at where are they missing things, where are things falling through the cracks, and that's money being left on the table. And this is a way to minimize anything falling through the cracks, developing a reputation that you are a business that's really on top of things. That creates super fans from all stakeholders, which means if you're a small business that has some employees, you've alleviated some of the mundane tasks that an employee is going to be doing. They can be focusing on things that are more important and motivational for them, as well as you do a better job of engaging with your customers. If you're providing services and you use products, then you're doing a better job of building a relationship with your distributors or your suppliers. And so it's a multitude of ways of overall creating a better environment that in turn is going to get these people, your stakeholders, say, man, what a great company to deal with. Yes. And they're going to start telling everybody that they know about it. And that's how you explode a business without spending a ton of money.
Absolutely. Yeah. Word of mouth is still the hands down the best form of advertising you can get. And if you provide a quality service to your clients, then that's what you'll get.
So Ken, how do people find you?
If they want to know more about InLink, it's just InLink.com, INLINK.com. In the main section, it's the sign up for our free Tuesdays at 4 p.m. AI training, AI employee workshops. Every week we go over different stuff. This week we're going to go over, I think probably the next couple of weeks, we're going to be sticking on this AI voice because it's the newest thing. It's really what can drive home. But when you're talking about AI voice, it's more than just somebody to answer the phone. That AI voice agent can send text messages. It can send emails based on the conversation. It can collect the user's information and transfer the call to a cell phone or to a voicemail so that you can check it later and get back to it. The possibilities are endless. And now the next time you hire a front desk person, you can skip that front end training stuff and then start training them on more meaningful pieces of your business that can help your business grow. How to do better Facebook posts and Instagram posts inside your facility, how to be the real person that's doing your outbound calling to see, hey, how did last week go? How are you feeling? Those kinds of activities. And I think that when you start doing those types of activities in your business, a simple handwritten thank you letter to people.
That's it. Start creating super fans.
Those are the things that want people to put on your t-shirt and go out into the world. Right. And if you can get people that want to put on your t-shirt and go out in the world, the first time you see your shirt on somebody you've never seen before out in public, it's really, really cool. And I think that the local electrician can get there.
Yep, absolutely.
So I think it's just a beautiful world that we're in. technology and the internet has saved my life more times than I can count, right? And I'm an advocate for the internet. I'm an advocate for privacy on the internet, but I'm also a huge advocate for small business owners, because that's also something that saved my life repeatedly, is having businesses on Main Street to go to and have those people to talk with and provide services for me and my family and everybody around me. So I can't think of a better thing for me to be working on at this stage in my life to help these businesses grow and prosper. I think it's going to be a good run.
And then you'll start creating your own super fans for your business, because you'll be transforming their businesses.
Correct.
Ken, it's been a pleasure having you on the Business Superfan Podcast show. Great conversation, great insights for our listeners, and we look forward to having you on the show down the road again.
Thank you, Frederick. I appreciate it.
Hey, Superfan Superstar. What a powerful conversation with Ken Cox today. Before we wrap up, here's your 3A playbook: actionable insights to help you attract ideal clients, advocate with brand champions, and accelerate sustainable business growth. 1. Train your AI like a team member. Ken emphasized that AI employees aren't just plug and play. They need training and management like any real team member. He encourages business owners to give their AI assistants names, define their roles, and set up clear workflows to ensure consistency and accountability. This approach personalizes the experience for your clients and boosts the effectiveness of automation. Try this. Assign a name and role to your AI assistant, define its primary tasks, and review its performance weekly, just like you would with a new hire. 2. Automate follow-up to create superfans. One of the biggest missed opportunities Ken sees in small businesses is poor post-transaction engagement. With AI tools, you can automate personalized follow-ups that keep your brand top of mind and build lasting loyalty. From post-sale thank you messages to 2-year follow-up funnels, the technology is here and affordable. Try this. Set up a 6-month automated follow-up sequence for your recent customers using email or text. Include check-ins, tips, and upsell opportunities to keep the relationship warm.
We hope you took away some useful knowledge from today's episode of the Business Superfans Podcast. The path to success relies on taking action. So go over to businesssuperfans.com and get your hands on the book if you haven't already. Join the Accelerator community and take that first step in generating a team of passionate supporters for your business. Join us on the next episode as we continue guiding you on your journey to achieve flourishing success in business.